Welcome back, everybody. It is the MLB Live Before Lock show. Just a 2-game slate for today. It'll be a bit of an abbreviated show. We're going to get out of here before the NFL guys do their thing because we've got Tuesday Night Football. Terry Mlb, Terry McBride joining me for MLB Live Before Lock. We've done a couple strategy shows recently, but I don't think we've done too many Live Before Locks together. So same duo and a little bit of a new time here. We're going to have some awkward block times coming up, but today we've got about 45 or 50 minutes or so until lock. So we've got all the information we need. Terry and I are going to break it down. How's it going, man?
Going pretty good, man. It's been a rainy, lazy kind of day here in Jersey. Probably put too much thought into this slate already, so don't know where I'm at. Trying to figure out what I'm doing for football later on. I'm all over the place today, but I think we've got this one pretty well in my sights. So hopefully we can do pretty well. And hey, before we dive in, I don't know if you saw in Slack, we had a big win from our pal XX Cubs fan. Had a nice takedown for very, very solid prize that I won't mention the amount, but it was very significant takedown last night. So congrats to our guy there and big win there. Nice to see somebody take advantage of the massive overlay on FanDuel last night. And hopefully we get another one today.
Yeah. Massive overlay last night over on FanDuel, probably because some people weren't having money to play with, money to enter with late yesterday afternoon. So looks like they may have got stuff figured out from Sunday. But yeah, that is a very substantial takedown, 30x ROI. That's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. Hopefully we can do something like that tonight, and the viewers as well. 93, almost 100 of you in here. I'm sure we'll get 100 in no time. If you guys could hit the like button on the way in, it'll make Terry and I give some better analysis. I think that's how that works. Free stuff we have going on for today. We've got NFL Showdown rankings. There is a Showdown slate if you guys are unaware. That's why we're going to get out of here a little bit early. We're not going quite up until lock. We've got an NFL show at 6 Eastern. Showdown rankings, again, free today. MLB ownership projections. If you want to see where all your favorite plays, where all your contrarian plays rank in terms of how popular they're going to be, you can do that for free using the best ownership projections in the business. For the main slate, other things going on. If you go to Awesemo.com Twitter account, you can find a giveaway we've got going on for the NFL game. I believe it is Derrick Henry versus Devin Singletary rushing yards. You got to guess that, and then you get entered into a pool of everyone else who gets it right. One random winner will win a $250 Awesemo Plus NFL yearly pass. That's not good enough for you. If you want to get a platinum monthly pass, you can go to our Instagram and find a giveaway. I believe it's between the QBs and their passing yards. So just follow the prompts on those pages. We've got giveaways going for all these big standalone games so far this season. So looking to keep that up. And your viewership and your comments and likes and all that really helps us continue to do this stuff for free and give away some free subscriptions on top of that. We're going to go through both of these games. Let's start with Atlanta and the LA Dodgers. They're in the early slot today. I just realized it's not going to be Houston starting off the slate. It's going to be Atlanta and LA. Minus 130 favorites are the Dodgers. Tony Gonsolin, it was supposed to be Clayton Kershaw. He got scratched earlier, late in the morning, my time. It's going to be Gonsolin now, and that kind of puts a wrench into the slate. I think we've got a clear SP1 option. Not Gonsolin, if you look at the projections, but it is Ian Anderson on the other side. And surprisingly, he's got the highest total against 4.6 runs for the Dodgers here, 4 for the Braves. But Anderson projecting as our top pitcher on the slate tonight at Awesemo.com. What are your thoughts on that, Terry?
This pitching slate is a mess. This is a total disaster. So, yeah, you just hit it. Anderson's my top projected pitcher. He's Alex's top projected pitcher. He makes the most sense as far as which of these guys is the best quality guy, but he's facing the highest implied total, like you said. He's facing an offense that was first in baseball against right-handed pitching with a 240 ISO this year, 26% above average creating runs against righties, only strike out 20.2% of the time against righties, hit 91 home runs against righties, leading the league this year. Yikes, that's a tough spot for Ian Anderson, who's a rookie. Pitched great, 32 and a third innings, 3.45 xFIP to a 1.95 ERA, 29.7% strikeout rate. Excellent prospect, did great coming up, but I mean, putting him up against the Dodgers here and making him our top pitcher, that's a tough ask. It makes sense. It's how it's coming out for me, but yikes, it's just scary. But it's indicative of what the pitching slate is like today. It's a get to whatever you want bats kind of a day for me. And I'm just going to roll with kind of whatever fits in as far as the pitching goes, I think.
Yeah. And I think, and the problem is with that is the pricing is soft. And so even when you are getting to like the top pitchers or the top hitters, you can still fit in most of the time the top raw point pitcher, which we have as Anderson pretty convincingly. And so like it's going to be tough to get him out of your lineup with an optimizer just with how the pricing works tonight. And there is no Kershaw, so that messes up a lot of things. Could have had a more expensive option, taking some ownership away from Anderson. Our ownership projections, again, are free if you guys want to check those out. We have Anderson on DraftKings right now in 60% of lineups. So the field is right there in terms of having Anderson as the top overall play on the slate. On FanDuel, a little bit easier to stomach. He's in less than a third of lineups. He's at 30.3% on FD, $9,400 over there. Like he's probably got the highest chance of picking up a few strikeouts compared to some of these other guys. You've got Yarbrough and Urquidy who just don't get the strikeouts as much. But yeah, I'm ending up on a bunch of Anderson, playing mostly on FanDuel tonight. I've got him in about 3/4 of my FanDuel lineups, which is a little bit scary, a little underweight of the Dodgers. I'm going to mix in some Dodgers stacks against them. But with the ownership on Anderson here, where do the Dodgers rank in terms of your favorite stacks?
So I like them. I'm definitely getting to them. I'm getting kind of small stacks and I'm getting one-offs. I was mixing up a lot of what I was crunching. I'm actually playing primarily on DK today, switching things up from what I normally do. And I was kind of allowing for some 4-man, some 3-man, some, just like a 4-man naked open. So I was getting a lot of Dodgers as one-offs here and there. And then, I was allowing at least one hitter against Anderson. So I was still getting a good amount of Anderson with that. But I do like the upside for the Dodgers in general. I mentioned their quality against right-handed pitching that they've shown this year. I get good power marks on several of these guys, particularly Mookie up top, Muncy, obviously, and Bellinger in the middle of that lineup, Jock Peterson down toward the end. I've mentioned AJ Pollock on a bunch of shows lately, and I'm right back on him again today. So I like the ownership, particularly down toward the bottom there. I think Turner at 22.4% ownership on DK and 31% ownership's getting up there at his low price on FanDuel. But I like the ownership play on Turner on DK. So I think there's definitely things to do with the Dodgers, despite the amount of Anderson that I'm planning on having.
Yeah, I'm having issues avoiding it is the best way I can put it with Anderson. He grades out, again, he's almost 5 points better than the next best pitcher, which is Gonsolin, but ownership does push those two together for me. If you're looking on the other side here, Gonsolin against the Braves, going to be a tough matchup as it is on both sides. Gonsolin has a 26% K rate on the season, low walk rate. He's probably the second best option for most people. You seen anything against the Braves that makes you want to go Gonsolin over Anderson at all?
No, not really. We've talked a bunch about the Braves against right-handed pitching. They went from a tough matchup against Kershaw, a lefty, to a quality matchup against Gonsolin here, a righty. He's all right. He's an okay pitcher. You mentioned there's not much K upside. He was in 46 and 2/3 innings, 8 starts, 9 appearances this year, 3.80 xFIP to a 2.31 ERA. So a little bit more trouble than it looked like on the surface. Last season, over 40 innings, was a 4.90 xFIP to a 2.93 ERA. So he's around that, high to mid fours xFIP kind of a guy. It's 4.31 for his career overall. Had a 250 BABIP against this year, so got a little bit lucky with guys, not hitting balls through the infield or whatever it is. 26.1% strikeout rate this year, so that's actually better than I thought it was looking at it. But he was a low to mid 20s guy in the minors through A ball. So I don't expect a ton of strikeouts here. He's got a good whiff rate on his splitter and his breaking pitches. Only 15% on his fastball. So I don't know. I don't think he's really got the stuff to sneak past this Braves lineup. I've mentioned, like I said, they're just excellent against right-handed pitching. We went through all the individual hitters and the righties against right-handed pitching yesterday with their tremendous ISO numbers. It's like 7 of them, well over 200 ISO against same-handed pitching. So I'm just leading right back into the Braves again.
Yeah, I'm going with a bunch of Braves. Looking at my FanDuel exposures, they're up near the top, but not quite at the top. But I'm seeing guys like Freeman and Acuna come up in over a third of my lineups over there. I'm 150 maxing on FanDuel, some of the lower stake stuff, just for to have a little skin in the game. If you take out Freeman and Acuna, 1 and 2 hitters in the order, it's nice having all the lineups. And I know there's only 4, but with these games being a few hours apart, it's nice having all the information we need. If you take out those 2 guys, who would be your next favorite Braves hitter? Because I think those are going to be 1 and 2 for everyone.
So it would probably just be the next guy up in that order would be Ozuna. Love him. He's had a tremendous year, and I've gotten to him a lot this season. Overall, in his 267 plate appearances, he hit 18 home runs, had a 431 on base, a 298 ISO, and a 179 WRC plus. That's a hitter I can play against pretty much any pitcher. So love getting to him. But I think there's just quality basically 1 through 9. Sneaky-ish kind of a guy down at the bottom of the order is Christian Pache. As a rookie, he's the top prospect. He's a speed, kind of a mid-range-ish power kind of a kid, but a lot of speed upside, and they like him. He's the guy who's going to fill in for Adam Duvall while Duvall's hurt. So we lose him out of the lineup, which hurts on the power upside. But getting to a sneaky Pace, he's only 2,100 on DraftKings, 2,000 even on FanDuel. So basically min price, under 10% ownership on both sites. Could be sneaky, get him on base, maybe steal a bag, use him as a wraparound play up to the top to the Acuna Freeman guys that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Ozuna would be my next favorite guy, but it's close after that for some of these Braves hitters. I like Albies quite a bit. I like Austin Riley as well. Hit the massive home run. I think that was last night. I get all my days confused. All these sports are days they shouldn't be. And there's no fans. It's really messed me up. But looking at where Riley's at, he's at just 15% over on DraftKings. On FanDuel, $2,600 over there. Under 20%. So if you guys want to get a look at those, again, ownership projections are free. You might as well take advantage if you want to see what's behind the paywall. We unlock 1 piece of premium content for most days in each sport. And there's no reason not to take advantage. Take a look. If you disagree with something, you can always change it on your own. But these are the best ownership projections in the business. So these are what we use religiously around here. Anything else in this game you want to mention? Just want to make sure we got a comprehensive overview from a DFS perspective of what we got going on here.
We can always have the Will Smith conversation at catcher. I think I bring him up every time somebody throws me anything else we should talk about with the Dodgers. Pushing 40% ownership again. It's just tough on DK. We're required to play a catcher there, so I get it. I understand why the ownership's so high. But I think I would probably, once again, go back to Darno on the other side at just under 30%, or maybe even one of the guys from the other game who are both going pretty under-owned because they're backup catchers. So you could get cheap and sneaky and easy with that. You don't really need the savings tonight at catcher. But I would probably walk away again from Smith outside of putting him into some stacks with Dodgers if I'm building out 150. And then the other guy toward the bottom of that lineup would be Jock Peterson. Always play Jock against a righty. He's got just immense power upside in the split and not really getting that owned. Not very expensive at all. We know what we're getting with him. We know there's a limitation with his ability to make contact. We're paying for the home run upside with Jock. So I can get to him at less than 12% ownership.
JJ in chat says, I'm envious. I know he's not talking to us, but he says, I'm envious. I put a lot of time in and am lackluster. That's how I feel about 90% of the days I play DFS. So hang in there, JJ. It does get better some days. DFS is tough, man.
It is. I was teasing the guy that we mentioned that had that big score last night because in Slack, his little icon is Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill. So saying, at least for today, it should be Sisyphus standing on top of the boulder up on top of the mountain.
That's right.
But that is what this is. I mean, they call it's a grind for a reason, man. We're going to lose more often than we're going to win. We just got to make it so the wins are big and they cover the losses.
That's right. All right, before we move into the next game, we have to talk about our new sponsor. I guess we haven't done a show with No House Advantage being our sponsor, Terry, but No House Advantage is pretty cool. I've been playing the last couple of days. And basically what it is, it's a peer-to-peer fantasy sports platform. You're basically betting on props and giving confidence points on each of the props. So you're ranking them 1 through 6. We don't have the No House Advantage props on our MLB projections yet. I'm sure we will very soon. But we do have them for NFL. So they've got some pretty decent NFL contests, some overlay going on over there. No House Advantage, really cool site. The best part, you can join for free today. And all you got to do is download the No House Advantage app, check out the daily prop contests, and you don't even have to deposit a dime. When you are ready, you can get up to $20 in free play when you use the promo code Awesemo. So pretty easy to remember that promo code. Remember where you heard about No House Advantage, and go check it out because they've got some pretty egregious over-unders that I think you could take advantage of. One guy we haven't talked about yet, and I want to hear your take on this. No House Advantage has Jose Urquidy at 5.5 strikeouts. We've got him at a pretty low projection, and I know you do your own projections as well, Terry. What do you think about over-under Jose Urquidy, 5.5 strikeouts tonight? It seems like a lofty number.
Yeah, I would be on that with a pretty high degree of confidence on the under for that. I've got him projected under 4 strikeouts actually, so I definitely do not think he's going to hit 5.5. That would be surprising in this spot. He's just not that guy. The Rays do strike out against right-handed pitching for sure. The 26.4% strikeout rate this year, but I just don't see it for him. I don't think he's really going to be that pitcher. He doesn't really have a good swing and miss pitch. He's a fastball slider guy that both get hit pretty hard. So I like the Rays to go off more than I like him to put up 5.5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I like it. So that would be one that I'd be looking at the 5 or 6 for the confidence level. And I'm playing some NFL over there tonight, and Alex's projections on the site. If you guys are members, if not, you should be, and play on these smaller sites like No House Advantage. But there's some ones with really, really high value that I think can help you make some money. I know Nolan Kelly, he's been crushing over on No House Advantage, just playing a couple lineups here and there. Those NFL props are pretty soft, and you're going to get more casuals in NFL. Tampa Bay and Houston, we have Tampa as a -110 favorite. This is close to a pick 'em depending on where you're looking on Odd Shopper. Ryan Yarbrough and Jose Urquidy, aforementioned Urquidy, are your pitchers. 4.4 implied total for the Braves, 4.2 for the Astros. Both these guys in the low 7Ks. On DK, Yarbrough, 7K flat. On FanDuel, Urquidy, 7,700. Ownership projections for these guys. Let me see if I can quick sort by pitchers. They should be near the top. Urquidy, much higher ownership on FanDuel than Yarbrough, about doubling him up. And then on DK, Urquidy getting a bunch of ownership as well, almost as much as Gonsolin. So where does Urquidy rank for you? I know we're not super keen on his strikeouts, getting 6 or more strikeouts here, but what do you think about him in general in this spot in the context of the slate here?
Yeah, I think I agree with Alex as far as the ranking. I think I would have him 4th out of 4. I like the spot a little bit better for Yarbs, even though if you take a look at the Astros, it's a team that over and over again I've kind of reset the span of the sample that I look at to the end of last year, to the start of last year, rather, to get a bigger chunk of data for the active roster. This year, they weren't great against lefties, 171 ISO, 6% below average WRC plus, 19.7% strikeout rate, very good. But if you bump that back, like we've talked about, they jump all the way to second in baseball with a 220 ISO, 124 WRC plus, only 17% strikeout. So they're very, very good. You just hope if you're rostering Yarbs that those struggles against lefties that they've shown this year continue in this spot. He's another guy, not a high-end pitcher, not a high upside as far as the strikeouts go. 18.8% strikeout this year, 13.3% swinging strikes, which is better than I'd expect for a strikeout rate at, below 20. He's got a good mix of pitches, good whiff on his changeup to right-handed hitters. Doesn't really have a good out pitch against lefties. So, he's all right. And I just think overall he's a better, higher quality pitcher than Urquidy on the other side. So I would probably take the risk of Yarbs against what I think is a better lineup in that spot.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe this is where the Astros' magical postseason starts to die out. If they go down 0-3 here, Tampa up 2-0 in the series. I don't know if I mentioned Braves won first game last night. Not that it matters that much for DFS, but maybe if you were talking about a more narrative-based thinking, if Urquidy struggles early, like Houston cannot lose this game. They can't go down 3-0. They'd be in real trouble there. Only a few teams, I think only one team actually has come back down 3-0. So they know the stakes here. Urquidy, not a high strikeout guy. Like, I don't understand why he's getting so much more ownership than Yarbrough. So I'm right there with you. Like, Yarbrough's cheaper on FanDuel. He's a few $100s more expensive on DK. But, I'm a little bit stumped on why our ownership showing so much more Urquidy than Yarbrough here. So I like Yarbrough if I can just choose one. I crunched out everything for DK. Yarbrough was my second highest owned pitcher, followed by Gonsolin, and then Urquidy way down there. Looking at the top pitcher tool, Yarbrough grades out very favorably. So he's in the top pitcher tool is in line with our thinking, Terry, and then Urquidy quite a bit over-owned on DK and FanDuel. So I'm just not understanding it with Urquidy. I don't know. I mean, give me the lower-owned guy that I think is better here in Yarbrough.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it really is, unless it's just maybe accounting for the public's perception of what the Astros are against a lefty. It's been kind of I don't want to say automatic go to over the last couple of years, but it's definitely something that's been, in the public mindset a little bit. So maybe there's some thinking that's going to pull it there. But yeah, I definitely see it the same way as Alex does, and what we've been talking about here. So I would be on that. And then to your point, as far as the playoff baseball and strategy of it goes, yeah, Urquidy struggles. The Astros could definitely turn to that pen, and they've got a few guys who can go out of that pen. I don't have the usage in front of me, but you could get to, you pull up a Josh James out of there. He can give you a couple of innings at a very high leverage. A Ryan Presley can give you a couple innings at a very high leverage, type of a pitcher. So there's some strikeout options in that bullpen. There's some guys who could give you 2 innings with, 4 Ks and pick up a sneaky win late, like kind of what we saw out of Castillo the other day. So maybe it's another spot where some of the bullpen arms are in consideration. Yeah. And I would say the same might be true on the Rays side of things. Yarb's not really known for going deep into games overall. A guy who kind of bounces between that bullpen role and the starting rotation anyway. So if they get into a spot where they're either trailing or they are up and want to lock the game down, they could turn to their bullpen for the last 4 innings of the game, go to a Castillo again, go to some of those other guys, a Fairbanks, somebody like that. So we could see those bullpen arms in this game in particular come into play again.
Yeah. And Alex, I just noticed now, at least on DraftKings, because on FanDuel, it's not really necessary to look at relievers for your one starting pitcher spot. But on DK, I think on a 2-gamer here, and certainly for a showdown, if you guys are playing those, he did project the relievers, 3 of them to be exact: Fairbanks, Anderson, and Presley. That being said, those guys are all 4K, and he's got them for all under 1.5, somewhere between 1 point and 1.5 points. So it's not nothing. I suppose you could play these guys. They're probably going to be 2 or less % owned in large field stuff. If you got a good feeling that one of them's going to get in, if you're not thinking this is going to be a good start for Urquidy, maybe you throw in one of the relievers that Alex has projected, increase the volatility on those guys, or the randomness volatility, same thing, standard deviation, whatever you want to call it. on those guys. If you're crunching, if you want to get a few of them, maybe cap them. And you could get a unique lineup construction and play, your Freddie Freemans and I don't know, a Dodgers stack or something like that against Ian Anderson. You don't really need
trying to get to that. If you're trying to get to that in FC, you might need to, if you have any salary restrictions on the overall salary spend, you might have to take that off because there's, I don't know what the hell you're going to do with all the savings if you put a pitcher on this slate. There's nothing to spend up to, but you could literally roster anybody you want if you play one of those guys at the pitcher spot. So,
do you usually use a min salary on FanDuel or DraftKings that you have to get to in FC?
For baseball, no. I just leave it wide open for baseball. I'll typically, my sorts and everything that I do takes care of that for me. I don't typically leave immense amounts of money, but I also, as we've talked about a few times through the season, don't really care if I've got a pitcher that projects well for me and two, highly correlated stacks that go together well. I'm fine with, leaving some money on the table.
Yeah, I think in general, you're just going to end up getting close to the salary, the 50K cap on DK. So I don't really worry about it. I don't worry about it for any sport, certainly not like NHL. Or any variance-based sports, just because value doesn't matter as much. Whereas NBA, like you probably want like 49.5 or 49.7 or something like that on a regular slate. I don't know what the NBA guys do these days. I'm certainly not any good at NBA DFS when I dabble one time per season on the NHL All-Star break.
I like to overthink it and go to like 49.4 because I'm thinking everybody else is at 49.5. So pick up that extra lineup with that extra $100, get sneaky with it. But in basketball, it makes a ton of sense to spend most of, if not all of your salary cap every time. So very, very different in baseball.
Yeah, people in chat asking for some lineup advice. I mean, if you're watching the show, maybe you're getting some lineup advice. Maybe our advice stinks. I'm not sure, but people asking to give them lineups. I think that's against the terms of service. So we can talk about players, but I don't think we can actually give lineups. And you don't want that anyways. You want to make your own lineups, win your own money or lose your own money, have some accountability of what's going on in your DK account anyways. But hopefully we're giving some pretty quality advice, teaching you more how to think about DFS rather than, the picks. But
that's what I always liked about our site. It's a teach a man to fish kind of approach at Awesemo, as opposed to just, hey, here's some fish, eat, come back tomorrow. We're going to teach you. You can go off and do this on your own. It's the right site to be at for sure to really learn this and learn how to do it right.
Joey, our social media expert, Joey Corman says, hit up my DMs for lineups. So there you go. Joey will sell you guys lineups. Make sure to hit him up. I think his Twitter handle is Leave It to Dvox. So there you go. Go DM him for all your Twitter 5-minute lineups before lock. Anything else about either of these pitchers before we're moving on to the bats and then head out of here?
I don't think so. I mean, we touched on the bullpens. We don't really love either of these guys. So, again, I think it's a bat-heavy slate, and then we got to just hope that we thread the needle with the right pitchers and, and work the right lineup out. But it is not a slate I'm excited about pitchers on at all.
Yeah, I'm not excited at all. I think I was talking with Adam yesterday. It would be way more it'd be a way better pitching slate, I think, if Kershaw were on the slate. Be more of a thoughtful pitching slate. But with 4 guys that are all within $1,300 or $1,200 of each other on DK, like you basically just need to get the top raw point pitchers, or if you want to get crazy, go to a reliever. So that's all I got on pitcher. I think Anderson's the best option, but he's also got the highest implied total against. So not fun to be playing a bunch of him against the Dodgers stack after they just lost last night.
And you're also biting off the highest ownership with him too, right?
Yeah.
It's such a tough spot.
Yeah. Bats in this game. Do you have a favorite side? Rays or Astros? 4.4 implied totals. Implied total for the Rays, 4.2 for the Astros. Real close to each other.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Rays side for me. particularly after all the bad mouthing of Ricchetti. They're coming up a little bit better projection-wise than the Astros are overall, and I like what the ownership looks like on them, even more to the point, particularly on DK. I just think there's room to work with those guys. There's some pretty significant price savings. I was hoping for G-Man Choi in the lineup, and we didn't get him, which is a little bit disappointing. We got Yandy Diaz cleaning up as a righty, but he's not drawing very much ownership at all. And then you get down into the bottom of the lineup. We saw Manny Margot go off for a big performance yesterday with a nice home run and a hell of a catch. Only drawing 17-ish% ownership, not very expensive on DK. So there's things we can do with that lineup. And this is the game where I mentioned too, we've got the two backup catchers going. So you get Dustin Garneau on the Astros side and Michael Perez on the Rays side. Both of them under 20% owned, where you have to play a catcher. So that would probably be where, if I need to save some money, I'll look for my catchers and just, even play them as one-offs, even against the pitcher, whatever.
Yeah. Chat's bringing it today. Emac is in chat. He says, cool shirt. He likes my Awesemo gear I've got here. Didn't even plan it. Just grabbed something. I got a shower with this cast on, so I don't have time to be worried about clothing and such. It's just whatever I grab. Doing everything with one hand, not actually very optimal when you're working at a computer all day. So been a little bit slow, but getting used to this big old thing on my hand.
How's your one-handed words per minute typing? Is it coming up?
Very, very slow, very slow. So Emac said, cool shirt. Yeah, if you guys want to buy our merchandise, we never really advertised this, but I think on your screen, it is on my screen. I'm watching us on YouTube. Just look below and you can see all of our t-shirts and mugs and socks. We got like 7 or 8 items on there. And so, yeah, go buy some stuff. You can buy this shirt if you want. We've got black and red and a bunch of other different colors. So sweatshirts and stuff too. There's a lot of cool stuff. And yes, Devils Hockey 18. I can say your name on the stream. There you go. Hit that deposit button. I saw you're struggling maybe for a few more dollars in your DK account. Go play the Quarter Arcade. 4 entries in there. And you can turn that into $20-$30 and go from there, man. That's how a lot of people grinded up their DFS bankroll. For sure. Did I drop the gloves on someone? I did not. No, I heard it playing basketball. So I just broke my hand playing basketball. It was freak injury. Not a very cool story. What about the Astros stack on the other side? Because I agree with you on Tampa. They are my number 1 stack right now on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think there's quality in the Astros lineup for sure. We look at some of the lefties in that lineup, and it's actually only 2 in the confirmed lineup. It's Brantley and Tucker. Brantley suffers a little bit in the split. Tucker really so far in his career has not suffered that much. He had a pretty good year against lefties, pretty good track record against lefties. So I'd be comfortable playing him. And it doesn't look like the field's really going to him. He's only 16 and change % owned, $3,800. I like the price on him on DK, only 37 on FanDuel as well. So I like him in the middle of that order. And then I can play most of these righties against a lefty. So while I'm more inclined to play Yarbrough as far as the pitchers on this game go, I definitely think there's room to build with the Astros here too. I mentioned the quality that they show if you take these same guys back to the start of last year, second in baseball in ISO, 220 ISO against left-handed pitching. Really, all you need to know, they drive the ball, they don't strike out in the split. So they're an excellent team. Like I said, if you're playing Yarbrough, you're just hoping that their struggles from this year continue. But overall, for their careers, jump on a George Springer, a Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, all those guys smoke left-handed pitching for their careers. So nothing really be too concerned about there.
Yeah, I would put Astros as my third best stack. So I'd go Tampa, Atlanta, Houston, and then LA. I think the top 2 are a clear top 2 for me. And then 3 and 4 are also pretty close. So there is a little bit of a pecking order for me in terms of how I'm ranking these stacks, but I think you could number them 1 through 4, and I could probably, you could convince me of that. So I'm looking more at overall lineup construction on a 2-game slate. Again, maybe allowing a hitter or 2 on DK against your pitcher. On FanDuel, I'm limiting it to 1 tonight. I think you don't want 2 guys going up against your starting pitcher if you're assuming he's going to have a pretty good game, even though I know lineups like that have certainly won before. We've seen some crazy things. If you guys could drop a like, that would be very appreciated. And then we're going to get some home run picks. So I think if we get to 100 likes, Terry will give us some surefire home run picks.
Yeah,
we got the NFL Live Before Lock Showdown Edition. It is Bills Titans Tuesday Night Football. Yes, Tuesday Night Football tonight. It'll be Alex Baker and Kyle Dvorak breaking that down in about 10 minutes. We're going to get out of here in just a couple minutes. But before we do that, I see the likes are piling on in. Terry, who are some of your top home run picks here?
All right, so let's go just off the top of the list. I'm going to throw some out since everybody's hitting the thumbs ups. We've got Ronald Acuna is my top guy on the entire board, followed by Freddie Freeman. So we're getting a lot of Braves power upside. Marcelo Ozuna's right there, and then we get into the Dodgers. So it's really the top 10 is essentially all about the Dodgers and the Braves, and then Austin Meadows sneaks into that. If we want to get into some of the value guys, I like Austin Riley for under 4K on DraftKings, under 3K on FanDuel. Let me sort this by price here, and I'll scroll down. Grab some under 4K. I just talked about Kyle Tucker on DraftKings. He's under 4,000. He's 3,700 is a price on FanDuel, but 38 I like on DraftKings. Just touched on Riley. Zunino is not on the lineup. Sorry, never mind. Let's see here.
Could still hit one. Pinch hit.
Yeah, it could happen. And I think he got one yesterday, right? We had, let's see, Manny Margot I mentioned, another guy super cheap on both sides. He's not killing it, but it's a decent for this slate with limited options kind of a number. So I like him. And Jock Peterson, who I mentioned earlier in the show, one of the bigger marks on the board, over 10, which is kind of the magic number to take you from an okay chance to a decent chance. He is low owned and cheap on both sides. So I like Jock a lot.
Yeah, I like a lot of those calls. I think we're going to be correlated in terms of our DFS results tonight. I'm hoping some of these Tampa Bay guys can hit some home runs, and we'll see what happens. But I like Meadows the best. So if I was picking a home run tonight, I think I would take Austin Meadows going up against Urquidy. So that's where I'd be at. Anything else left in this game? Again, just want to make sure we didn't miss anything at all.
So I think my pick from my column last night was G-Man's choice. So since I have to replace that anyway, I'll take Jock just so we both have one from the conversation here. So Jock will be my guy for the home run call, the official pick for the day.
All right. I'll be rooting against that pick because I got a bunch of Ian Anderson, but maybe one of my Dodger stacks gets there with Jock, so it won't be too bad. That's the fun part about playing 150 lineups. You just play 150 and it's just automatic profit every single night. You're just printing money playing 150.
That's how Alex and Chipotle and all those guys do it, right? You just throw 150 at every tournament and you're guaranteed to print money.
Yeah. If you guys got any quick questions for us, we can answer those. But just want to mention that if you ever can't catch our shows live, we do have a podcast channel, multiple podcast channels that we're building out right now. If you go to Apple Podcasts, search for your sport, then search Awesemo. You'll be able to find NBA, DFS, PGA, whatever it is, NFL. And then we've got fantasy football on there as well. We've got MLB shows. So if you're ever looking to catch up on a strategy show, if you're driving home and you don't want the video version, you don't want any of the YouTube ads that can get a little stingy sometimes, podcast is the way to go. We've got everything that is not live before lock going up on there all the time. Josh's Showdown videos, if you're looking for a quick 6-7 minute breakdown of the NFL slates. So go over there, write us a review, write us a nice review, please. Not a mean one. Give us 5 stars. That helps us out a ton as we try to build out our podcasting platform, because podcasts, they're the present, but they're definitely the future as well. I've always got a podcast on. How about you, Terry?
Yeah, Sam, I'm constantly downloading stuff, whether it's our stuff to try and keep up through the week with NFL, with all the different shows that we're doing and everything. I like to try and grab, if I'm not on one of the morning shows, I like to listen to that and, catch up through the day. And then I've just got all the other ones that I subscribe to from, Bill Simmons and all the different stuff. So constantly, every time I take the dog out, I've got my headphones in, listening to a pod. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Alexa's always playing them. I shouldn't say her name. She's going to beep. But constantly listening to pods. So it's cool. We've got a bunch of stuff up there and cool graphics. I don't know if you saw, we made whoever did it made a cool little coat of arms graphic with different sports stuff on it.
The new podcast artwork?
Yeah.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
that was Jake D and Zach. I think I want to give credit to all those guys. The graphic design team, they crushed it with those. So yeah, I uploaded those a few days ago. They're really slick. So if nothing else, go check out the awesome artwork that the guys behind the scenes do. It's pretty crazy stuff. They designed the entire site, and they just continue to make these amazing graphics. It was Fairbanks, Anderson, and Presley were the three guys that Alex has projected for relievers tonight. Someone was asking in chat. I think it was Eric. So, I think that's going to wrap it up here. We're going to give Jordan, our producer, a couple minutes so he can turn around and produce the NFL show. Go check that out with Alex Baker, #1 DFS player in the world, and Kyle Dvorak, always giving great analysis. Don't go anywhere. Just click on the Awesemo.com YouTube channel and wait for the next stream. It's going to be a good one. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hit the like button on the way out. And I'll see you tomorrow morning with Adam Scherer on the MLB Strategy Show.